9 a.m. East Coast. I can't see Jackson. Oh, what's going on?
I'm ugly.
Huh? Do you say
ugly.
You're ugly? Dude,
there we go.
I gotta
try to do it face cam today, but no.
I got a third eye right here.
Third eye blind?
Yeah, third
eye. Gotta pop that.
I know. I'm just gonna. This is how we're going. But either way, dude, I watched last night. I watched the movie you should watch, Mickey Blue Eyes.
Mickey Blue Eyes.
It's a Hugh Grant rom-com where he's a art connoisseur who is trying to marry a girl who's the daughter of a mob boss, and they start trying to launder paintings through his art auction, and then he gets so it's a rom-com mafia movie.
Nice, very nice.
Ends with the shootout. Come on. Come on.
You know, I'm not a huge action guy, but yeah, it's
rom-com action movie. Come on, you can't. Hollywood can't write them better.
Seems good enough.
Either way, did you watch? It sounds terrible. Your mother sounds terrible.
That's what Thomas said, not me.
Mickey Blue Eyes, because Hugh Grant has to act as if he's a mafia member. So there's a whole scene where he's trying to talk like an American.
Ooh, nice.
Either way, did you watch All-Star Weekend?
I watched all this Saturday. I tried to watch as much as I could yesterday.
I did not. I didn't really watch yesterday.
There's a lot of too much boozing going on. I actually fell asleep for a little bit of it.
I saw the highlights of the All-Star game, but I really didn't watch the All-Star games.
I've almost come to the conclusion that I might be done. Having the show is a little bit different. If we didn't have the show, I would not watch the All-Star game live. There's no way.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I just didn't care. I saw the tweets when it said Tatum scored 55.
Yeah, Tatum versus Brown.
I didn't care. You?
Well, it's just hard to watch. Even the last couple of minutes were very hard on the eyes. It was very bad basketball. And I get it. You don't want to injure yourself or you don't want to injure anybody. I think Luka even said that when he was mic'd up in the second quarter. But yeah, it's just a tough watch. It is. There's no defense. I mean, it's just nothing, dude. You can do anything you want.
Yeah, no. Who was it that said they wanted to win All-Star MVP this year? There was somebody.
I know. I was banking on LeBron, and then he got injured. So
LeBron got injured during the game?
Yeah.
What?
He hurt his hand on the rim, and he didn't play in the second half.
No way. LeBron got hurt in the second half. That is funny as hell. Oh, my God.
Well,
let me turn on this thing.
The best word choice. LeBron said the last 22 or 23 games of the season are the most important of his career. So, game a horse without tracking the score. Dude, the last couple of shots were so bad because everyone was pulling up from half court. It was tough. It really was.
Heated blanket.
Nice.
That's a nice shirt.
Thank you.
A little wrinkly.
It's extremely wrinkled. It's at the bottom of my closet, but it's cold, dude. I'm cold.
Either way, so let's go through this. Let's talk about the first big thing and a guy who made a name for himself. I made a video saying that the disrespect on this young man needs to stop. You know, the commentators had gone overboard with their jokes. I honestly thought it was almost annoying how they were treating him as if they were treating him as if he was a bum. I mean, I understand that he's not the circumstances aren't ideal, but Matt McClung put on a show. Everyone's saying he saved the dunk contest. I mean, the dunk contest has been dead for years. It's never coming back, guys. The dunk contest will never be what it was, but this was a good trip down memory lane. Like for me, the last good dunk contest, fuck the Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine, and all that noise. The last good dunk contest was Dwight Howard versus Nate Robinson.
I hated that one. Hate's the strong word.
I
I think that's when it was ruined.
No. So the first, because what was it? First, Nate Robinson beat Dwight Howard, then Dwight Howard beat Nate Robinson, right, over a 2-year span.
Nate Robb was, he's cool.
Well, I saw those two as my first two. I think it was the first one was Nate Robinson over Dwight, and then Dwight came back with the Superman cape and beat Nate Robinson. That was awesome. And like Dwight dropped from the free throw line. I know he technically didn't dunk it, but like still.
I didn't like that because I think that's when it got ruined because it's like, all right, Dwight, we get it. You're on steroids and you're 7 feet tall and you can dunk it. I don't really know what to do for you.
Okay, Mr. 81. If you go, that's very hard.
He also can't play defense.
Yeah, so like let's actually talk about it. We made a video, which is actually one of our more popular videos on this channel, called "The Problem with McClung" when he was on the Golden State Warriors training camp. We were big fans of Matt McClung, but first off, love Matt McClung. No disrespect right here. Problem with Matt McClung. He's not the biggest body, and he's originally a combo guard with point guard skills, and he's become a better and better point guard. But what Jackson mentioned, he can't play defense. Okay, nothing against him. Like he's athletic as hell. He tries. He's become a really good scorer. He's 6'2". Okay, his wingspan is, same as his height, 6'2".
Is it really?
Yeah, he's 6'2" wingspan, 6'2" height, and that's not necessarily what sets up to be a good defender in the NBA. And even if he didn't have that, Mac McClung, what he has to do is be a Facundo Campazzo, Pat Bev type defender to be like a decent defender in the NBA. But he doesn't do that. He literally has to be like a pesky, annoying, like bug on defense, which I haven't seen him do in the G League or on a consistent basis,
Well, I understand why some teams would be hesitant, maybe like Golden State, and I've been saying this for so long, like he should be on an NBA roster.
Oh, there's enough teams tanking that he should be.
Yeah, exactly. Like somebody just give him a shot. And the issue is when teams are giving Mac shots, like he was a former Bull for, I believe, like a game or two. They play him for like 2 minutes. It's just like, all right, somebody give him some run up here. And when we look at 6'2" point guards in the NBA, there's only like 17 of them. Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving, Tyrese Maxey.
All those guys are 6'3".
Derrick Rose. They're what?
They're all 6'3". Everyone you're listing is 6'3".
Okay, well, listed, they're all 6'2". Maybe Mac McClung's actually 6'3". So
Matt McClung,
he should be on a roster.
Yes, I agree. Okay, if Sharif Cooper could be on an NBA team,
yes,
Mac McClung can be on an NBA team. I do believe that. I think. Again, people don't realize Mac McClung could have gone to Fenerbahce or the Shanghai Sharks this offseason and earned millions of dollars, and he turned it down. And Fenerbahce is one of the top Turkish clubs and top clubs in Europe, and then he could have played for Shanghai Sharks. So he could be making millions of dollars and being one of the best players in Europe, but he chose to be making less than $100,000 a year to fucking chase his NBA dream, which I just shows his devotion. And again, like, look, you're telling me, look, the Spurs don't have a backup point guard. Who's backing up Trey Jones? Blake Wesley's more of a shooting guard. Okay. I forgot about Devontae now. Yeah, Devontae Graham. But still, Utah, you just got to see him up close. You telling me you couldn't get him? You just cut my boy Leandro Ballamaro. Which we need to spend 5 minutes talking about Leandro Ballamaro being cut.
I think it's just real quick. I think it's annoying because Mac last year in the G League, 21.5, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 38% from downtown.
Didn't Jordan
Rookie of the Year. Almost won MVP. So teams should have.
Jordan McRae averaged like 35 in the G League. Where's he?
Jordan McRae.
Yeah, bro.
I don't know. The former Rookie of the Years aren't like Paul Reed.
Paul
most
Reed's goat,
recently
though.
was
Paul
pretty
Reed's
cool.
goat.
I don't know if you remember Antonio Blakeney. He was Antonio Blakeney.
Yeah, what
he
do you
was
think? 25 point per game scorer.
he put up like 30 something in the G League, but yeah, my former Bull.
Also, people are now starting to say that the deal that the Timberwolves gave the Jazz was a lame deal.
Ooh. Like Mike Conley for D'Lo?
No, the Rudy Gobert deal.
People are just now saying that.
Yeah.
That what Minnesota gave Utah?
Yeah, like half the players were worthless.
Well, that was kind of like the point.
Yeah, I don't even know. I just saw
Draft picks were like the big.
But either way, so Matt McClung, do you expect him to be in the NBA?
100%. I don't think it'll be with Philly because there's no way, no shot in hell he plays for them. But yeah, hopefully somebody scoops him up, man. Rockets, give him a run, dude. We need a point guard.
That is so true. The Rockets weren't even the team I thought about, and like that's a great point. Look at this. You gotta love it when you search up a topic and it's your picture that comes up.
Nice.
Here we go. Let's talk about Cody Zeller and Kevin Love. A few days ago, I made a video basically saying that the Miami Heat were prioritizing signing a center and a. Basically, I made a video the other day saying the Heat were prioritizing signing Serge Ibaka and Kevin Love over Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverley because they had 2 roster spots open. Instead of Serge Ibaka, because I did complain in the video saying that if you're really considering Serge Ibaka, there's so many better center options out there. I was like, really, like Serge Ibaka maybe 2 years ago, but like I was like, if you were considering signing Serge, I was like, you should be signing Hassan Whiteside at that point, you know. But yeah. Cody Zeller was a better option, 30 years old. You know, I'm not going to say he's anything special. He's the third big man basically behind Bam Adebayo. I guess, yeah, Bam Adebayo. Kevin's kind of going to play some center, I believe, when Bam comes off the floor. From what I've heard is, I mean, I talked about this with Luke. The reason why Kevin Love chose Miami was Miami, out of all the teams that had contention aspirations, this was the team that was going to give him the most minutes. This was going to be the team that would give him the best role. And I think they were the team that could give him arguably the most money. And the reason why I say that is this is a team that had been struggling to replace PJ Tucker all season long. Kevin Love, I'm not going to say he's playing defense like PJ Tucker, but the corner shooting that PJ Tucker provided, Kevin Love is better. The rebounding that PJ Tucker provided, Kevin Love arguably is better. And the passing ability, Kevin Love is better than PJ Tucker. The only thing PJ Tucker is better at is defense. And Kevin Love, I guess he's older now. He's like, 34? But Kevin Love in the playoffs, if you haven't paid attention, when he needs to be turned on, Kevin Love is not a terrible defender. Like, he tries his heart out. Steph Curry, for example, like we've seen Kevin Love when the game's on the line and he needs to put, like, he doesn't get taken off the floor of the fourth quarter, in the playoffs, usually if he's playing hard. And then Cody Zeller is just, I feel like, a reserve big because supposedly Omer Yurtseven's about to come back. So they'll have Bam, Yurtseven, and Cody Zeller and Orlando Robinson on a 2-way. And then Kevin Love will be the power forward with, I guess, Cody Martin as his backup. Is it Cody or Caleb? Caleb, sorry. Cody's on the Hornets. What were you going to say?
You're somebody I've always wanted on the Lakers. Cody Zeller, former 4th pick in the draft.
Yeah,
shout out to him.
30 years old only.
He spent 8 long years in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And it never quite panned out, but I think I totally forgot Cody Zeller was even a free agent. I think it's a great move for the Miami Heat. But yeah, Kevin Love offers pretty much everything Miami needed. So this will, I think, surprise a lot of people. Miami is 3rd last in 3-point percentage. They are dead last in total points per game. They are dead last in blocks, and they are 4th last in rebounds. So I know he's not like necessarily protecting the rim, but pretty much ticks every box you need if you're Miami. Yeah, is that crazy? They're the lowest scoring team in the NBA.
Before we continue this talk, I want people to answer this question. I want you to answer. They can't waive anybody else on this roster because they had 2 roster spots open, okay? and they just signed these 2 guys for these roster spots. So, and I looked at the rest of the players. Every other player on this roster actually plays like a significant role on this team. The only player you could waive is Duncan Robinson. So my question to you is, would you stretch and waive Duncan Robinson's, like, I think it's basically he has like $53 million left over the next like 2.5 seasons. Would you stretch and waive that $53 million over the next 15 years so you could sign Russell Westbrook?
Oh, wow.
Is it worth stretch and waiving a massive contract like Duncan Robinson if you had 100% guarantee that you could sign Russell Westbrook? Is that much of a burden be worth signing Russell Westbrook or John Wall? Does it put you over?
I don't think it does. I don't think
Russell
it's
Westbrook?
worth it for Miami. It's very, very risky getting Russ. Russ is a risky sign if you're gonna have to go through all those hoops.
Even John Wall?
Yes.
Or Pat Bev? None of them are worth it, you're saying?
I think they'll be able to get enough from Lowry, Vincent, Debo, Strus, and Tyler Hero to not do those moves. Especially Pat Bev. I mean, I love Pat Bev, but they're one of the best defensive teams in the league.
Yeah, but it was more for Russell Westbrook or maybe John Wall, just because those were 2 guys that we would all love to see in a Miami Heat jersey, and they had 2 roster spots open, and they used it on these 2 guys. So basically, you either waive Omer year 7 or you waive.
No.
Yeah,
I think them picking up Cody Zeller pretty much signifies that they're not interested in getting Russ.
Couldn't they? So one thing you cross your fingers and you'd hope for if you're a Miami Heat is Omer year to 7's out for the season. Then you can apply to the NBA for a hardship exception, which means Omer year to 7 basically goes on injury reserve, and they grant you like a few $1 million in a hardship, and then you can sign an additional player.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like it'll happen.
It would have already probably happened.
I really like Omer.
I love Omer, but I'm just saying, like, does Russell Westbrook or John Wall help put this team over?
I don't think so.
I understand that. I mean, it's I still think these 2 moves so far underrated. I mean, one might say as of right now, they're the winners of the buyout market so far. I think they're the team that most improved their team via buyout.
It remains to be seen, but yeah, as of
Justin Holiday and Terrence Ross weren't moving the needles for the fucking Suns and Mavericks.
Terrence Ross looked good, but yeah.
We could agree out of Terrence Ross, Justin Holiday, and Kevin Love, who's going to have a bigger impact. You're lying if it's not Kevin Love.
Just wait till the Bulls get Russell Westbrook, and then we'll be the winners. So,
what if Russell Westbrook signs with like the Wizards? How sad would you be?
Well, I keep saying, and we all know this, like, logically, it makes no sense for the Bulls to get Russell Westbrook. But I think if we got Russ, I think we could make the play-in tournament, get out of it, and take down either Boston or Milwaukee. Just kidding. But I think we'd get to the play-in.
That'd be funny. Oh, yeah. That'd be actually really funny. All right, so let's just mention this. I don't even care to talk about it. Like, good for him. Damian Lillard won the 3-point contest.
Yep.
That's not even
won the 3-point contest.
That's a Seattle hat.
Shout out Pacific Northwest, baby.
Okay. He beat Buddy Hield and Tyrese Halliburton. And he wore a Weber State uniform.
Weber State.
Weber State. Weber, sorry. I'm sorry.
My Big Sky Brodies.
Yeah, dude, I just don't care.
Wow.
Like, good for him. No, NBA All-Star.
Oh, yeah. I did the 3-point. I've never really even cared too much about the 3-point. I really shout out to Dame, though. I mean, it's probably, I hate to say this, Blazers fans, please don't get upset, but it's probably the highlight of the Blazers season.
I was about to say Jose Alvarado is the highlight of the All-Star weekend, winning MVP of the Rising Stars, hitting that fadeaway buzzer beating, not fadeaway game-winning shot from 3.
I couldn't finish Rising Stars when I saw Jabari Smith Jr. brick anything he.
Oh
did.
no,
it was like
no, I did not watch the
Way
Rising
too
Star. I
much
saw
of
2 minutes of it, and I was like, "This is bad basketball."
Yeah, Rising Stars never really done it for me. Didn't they
No.
used to do international stuff going on?
So there's been the Team World versus Team
Yep.
USA.
Did they get rid of that?
Yeah, and then before
Yeah,
that
that's
they
messed
had the sophomores versus
Oh yeah,
rookies. That was the old
Yep.
school. They would just have rookies versus sophomores.
I did like that.
But
Yeah, it's almost as if Adam Silver and the NBA are like going out of their way to make the All-Star game worse and worse, or All-Star weekend worse and worse every year.
Well, so Jason Tatum scores 55 points, 184 to 172. The game itself was widely panned due to its lack of defense and competitiveness.
Yeah, so I think this pretty much kiboshes any logic from the NBA that any of these players would care about a playing tournament for money. I think this was for money too. I don't know what you do to fix the All-Star game. It's horrible. At least like have them
The
wear
skill
their
challenge
original
sucked.
jerseys. Go back to East-West. No one's ever watched the skills challenge ever in the history.
Wait, no, I
since
think
it's been
first
made.
off, you need to make the jerseys like how you used to. You know, like the 1996 All-Star game in Phoenix when they had like the cactus.
Yeah, that's fine. And you know, with the jerseys weren't that bad this year, but it's just I don't know. It's really bad.
I know.
The draft selection
Like
was
this,
so
like
stupid.
why aren't they making jerseys like this anymore? Ready? Like why aren't they doing these anymore? Like how much?
Nice.
Like aren't those jerseys? No. I have no idea what that's supposed.
Like
This one was either San Antonio or like Phoenix.
It looks like San Antonio.
But this is the 96 All-Star game. All the All-Star game jerseys are first off boring. I would never ever buy an All-Star game jersey. Boring. Like they're just a color, not even cool. They've been doing the same design for like the last 10 years, it feels like. Skills challenge, waste of time. I don't give a crap.
And also, why am I watching the Antetokounmpo brothers every year playing basketball? If I wanted to do that, I'd fly to like Greece in the summer.
Why are we having the Antetokounmpos versus the Holidays versus the Zellers? Or the Plumleys?
Yeah, which is still stupid to me.
Why do we have the Plumleys? The Plumleys versus the Zellers. Mason Miles.
I think you know why, but
and Tyler versus Cody. What is it? Mason Miles. What's the other brother? Mason Miles.
Oh, dude, this is gonna be pissing me off.
Mason Miles.
He had a very brief NBA career, right?
With the Knicks.
Miles.
There's Miles. There was Miles. Mason Miles. Marshall.
That's right.
Mason Miles Marshall versus Cody Tyler and what's the third Zeller brother?
There's a third Zeller.
Luke. Cody Tyler, Luke Zeller versus Mason Marshall and Miles Plumlee. I would pay for that skills challenge.
Okay, well, you might be alone there.
Oh, come on.
I think some people would watch it. I don't know if anybody would pay for it.
Well, they're missing out on spending their hard-earned cash on a worthwhile event. That's all right. So you want to hear something crazy that might be happening?
Sure.
NBA expansion won't be discussed until after the CBA and national media deals. Seattle is guaranteed, but there is a serious conversation being had that the second NBA expansion franchise is either Las Vegas or Mexico City.
Dude, whoa. That's
Yeah.
nuts. It's like Madden shit there.
I don't. First off, we're also hearing that the national media deal might not be tripling. We thought it was going to be going up to like we were saying 75 million. It's looking like it's going to go to 50. I think it's right now at 25 billion, right? Or something like that. It's basically going to double, looking more like a $50 billion deal. We were thinking 75 billion. So the cap spike might not be as high as we think. It's a huge problem right now. But the thing is like they want to sign the CBA first. And then after the CBA, I think we'll hear it right before they sign the media deal, because when they sign the media deal, they're basically going to have to be like, hey, when we sign this deal, you have to account for that this deal will have to expand with the inclusion of 2 new franchises. So let's say it's $50 billion, $50 billion for 30 NBA teams. But 3 years into this deal, you're going to have 2 new franchises in top 50 markets in the United States. So if it's 50 billion for 30 teams, let's make it 60 billion once the 2 new teams come in or something.
So when do you think, if there were expansion teams introduced, when do you think that would?
Before the end of the decade. The plan is by 2030, there are 2 new NBA teams. They have said repeatedly that 2 new NBA franchises will be playing in the NBA before 2030. It is 2023 right now. NBA, we have 2.5 years before the current collective bargaining agreement expires. They want to sign a new collective bargaining agreement within the next year. Same thing, they want to sign a new deal. So basically next summer, we should start really hearing about NBA expansion. And the reason why I do think expansion is happening is there's never been rumblings like there are right now.
Oh, okay.
We've never heard just expansion be talked by Adam, like referred to by Adam Silver repeatedly, and he's like, we're excited to talk about expansion. Like they want to expand, and the reason why the NBA wants to expand is the COVID-19 pandemic. By doing the bubble, it put the NBA in $7 billion of debt. And a NBA franchise fee is expected to cost between $3.5 and $4 billion. So if you create 2 new franchises, you're getting between $7 and $8 billion of revenue.
It's all politics.
Yeah. So basically,
I put money on Seattle and Vegas.
Seattle's a guarantee. Seattle, they have said repeatedly, first franchise being granted expansion is the Seattle Supersonics. No question.
We just got a hockey team, so I'm excited for that.
It's just that Seattle, it's like the one team in sports that everyone agrees was actually robbed of their franchise, and like the city still owns all the history. They have NBA ready arena, and that's the thing. Why I think Kansas City is a dark horse. That Anschutz owns the arena in downtown Kansas City, and the arena was built in 2006, and it's where the College Basketball Hall of Fame. It's like not 40, but it's like a full-fledged NBA arena. But
I'm all for expansion. I think I missed. What's the only team? Oklahoma? Was there another one?
Oklahoma was a relocation, but expansion.
Yeah.
Charlotte Bobcats. Charlotte Bobcats were at expansion during our lifetime, because I think Charlotte Bobcats were like 2001. I'm trying to think of another expansion in our lifetime. Magic Timberwolves were before us. I'm really thinking it's the Bobcats. Pelicans, technically, right? No, because they were relocation of the Hornets.
Yeah.
Because they became the New Orleans Hornets. I'm trying to think of all the teams that relocated since 99.
I miss, I always wanted to, the Montreal Expos. It was a cool era. That's completely random, but feeling baseball-y today.
Oh, dude, you know who was in our lifetime? All right, so we only had one team in our lifetime.
Do you have a hint?
We already said it's the Bobcats in 2004, but right before we were born was Toronto Raptors and the Grizzlies.
Toronto Raptors.
Literally 4 years right before we were born was Raptors and Grizzlies. So the only team that's expanded were the Bobcats. But Seattle will definitely get it because they're the largest American media market without an NBA team. And then Las Vegas.
Can't wait. I'm going to get season tickets.
Yeah. And then the reason why Kansas City is an option is because it's bigger than Milwaukee, Oklahoma City, New Orleans, and Memphis.
Milwaukee? Oh.
Like TV market and like population.
Yes.
So like people don't understand like why do all those other cities have franchises, but like Kansas City doesn't. And Kansas City's like the Midwest, like basketball is king in the Midwest, you know?
Yeah, big time. I'm rooting for. I don't really care about Vegas, but if LeBron's owner, it'd be cool. I'm rooting for San Diego because in 2K, the San Diego expansion team has really cool colorways.
So, wow. So, guess what turned out to be true? You know, like how I said, I was reporting this whole time that Bones Highland would not be traded to the Timberwolves out of pettiness. The Denver Nuggets refused. So, the Timberwolves thought they had a done deal for Bones Highland, but turns out the Denver Nuggets were refused to trade, even if it was a better offer, to trade Bones Highland to the Minnesota Timberwolves due to the fact that they were not willing to help Tim Connolly in Minnesota, the Denver Nuggets did not appreciate how Tim Connolly just abruptly left the Denver Nuggets this offseason.
I love it.
That's funny. Conley never wanted to extend D'Angelo Russell. That's funny.
They're better off with Conley 0 points, and I'm just kidding. They are better off with Conley though.
Yeah, you know who did a really good job at the All-Star weekend? Pierre, Pee-wee to plug. He was asking people some good questions.
I don't watch NBA YouTube unless it's like
it's on Twitter, bro.
Real media.
It's on Twitter. You asshole.
It doesn't tickle my titty.
Supposedly, Boban Marjanovic is the greatest human you'll ever meet.
Yep. He seems it. I was so close to him at the Rockets game. I was so close. I could reach out to him.
I feel like anybody's so close to him because he's that big.
Yeah, he is huge, though. They're all big. I mean, once you go to when you see them in real life, it's like, sheesh, they're all really big. But Boban's, his ears like the size of my head.
All right, I'm just trying to find shit to talk about right now. It's just
really deep one.
Let's look. There's really just
Victor. Yeah, Dre was on the broadcast for it's not news, but it was interesting. Dre being on the dunk contest and 3-point shot.
What do you think of this?
Yes, I love it. This is why we're about to have a lockout.
We talked about, so Luke got so pissed off. So an NBA lockout is coming, guys. And the reason why an NBA lockout, Luke and I got a huge argument. So the reason why a lockout is coming, it's not over money. It's not over this. NBA players I love players and I love player empowerment. But there's so Luke and I got a huge argument because Luke says this is the coaches and the general man front office's fault. And I was like, no, the players are telling the coaches and the general managers that they're not going to play. I was like, and as a general manager and coach, you're going to be like, all right, whatever makes you happy. But basically what's happening is there's a rumor that the way lockout is going is NBA owners are feeling disrespected for two things. First off, people are signing long-term contracts and then 6 months later demanding a trade. They're just like, sign the basically the new philosophy in the NBA is even if you don't want to be there, just sign the contract because they can pay you the most and just in 6 months ask for a trade and make it public so people know that they can trade for you. And the second thing is that people are pissed off about is load management. Right here, if you're 80%, you got to play. I don't like all the sitting, missing game stuff because the thing is the owners feel the fans are leaving. The fans aren't coming to the games because I mean, fuck the kid who was the one who was a clout chaser who was like, I flew 4,000 miles from Argentina to see Jimmy Butler and he like sat, and the same thing happened with Steph Curry. But that's the thing is people are, an NBA game is expensive. If you want a decent seat, take your family of 4. That's a $800 investment right there to get decent seats for your kids, food, drinks, hotel, if you're traveling.
Yep.
And you got players. I mean, Jordan always said that every game he played, he tried to have the best game of his life because he knew people were paying hard-earned money to go to those games. And you got guys now sitting missing games. And first off, I think the first thing you can do is make it a 72-game season instead of an 82, and that's the least I would go. I don't think you should go any less than 72. 72 would let you have no back-to-backs if you take 10 games away. I'm fine with that. Nothing less. But you can't fucking sit and there's a lockout because the NBA owners are like, we're losing the fans. We're losing the fans because you guys aren't playing. The owners need to take some control in the sense of you guys just can't be demanding trades and just leaving. I'm all for players wheeling, dealing, hoping to go to new places and taking control of your employment. Some places it doesn't work out, but you can't be leaving these franchises hung and dry. And second, I don't even think the trade stuff is the more important stuff. That's just kind of annoying as a fan, but it's really, guys, it's I mean, if you want to put in if I worked at a job that I didn't like, I would be looking for new employment and I'd be leaving that employment as soon as possible. So, if you put it in that example, it makes sense why players are demanding trades. I understand that. Second, the more important issue that I think is why a lockout is happening is what I've said is the fans are leaving. The fans don't want to watch half the games or even go to the games because half the games their favorite players are not playing.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Exactly. No, I'd feel the same way if that happened to me, and all the old heads they talk about it as well. MJ said that. I saw Richard Jefferson a couple of weeks ago talk about how when he was growing up, very poor, he went to a game. I can't remember who it was or where he's from. I don't think it was Staples, but Richard Jefferson was saying the first NBA game he ever went to, his family didn't even go with because of how expensive it was. And, his dad dropped him off at the game and went and watched it elsewhere. And it's just completely different. If hockey players can play 82 games, hockey players play 82 games.
Soccer players.
Well, let's not compare hockey to soccer, but yes.
Soccer players play 40, 50 games a year, and it's way more running. 90 minutes. Well, it's similar running. Let's go similar running. Hockey, basketball, and soccer, similar running. You're running up and down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just in hockey you get hit, and in soccer when you get hit, you cry to your.
I know, but what they say, you run in soccer 7 miles or 8 miles.
Yeah, you do run a lot.
They're saying one player in 90 minutes runs almost 10 miles. I think it is. I guess if you play a whole game of soccer.
Load management is just so stupid, and as the days go by, the more love I have for young man Anthony Edwards. I think he's really stepping up.
So they're talking about tying awards to games played, but I'm awards are already yeah, that's what I said in one of the podcasts.
The attendance in school.
Yeah, I was like we already tie awards to games played. Where we usually don't give awards to guys who play less than 60 games. I was like, what? In this one podcast I was listening to on The Athletic, they said it best. He was like, what we should do? You got to play 2,000 minutes. If you don't play 2,000 minutes, you can't qualify for an award. He's like, we got to do it by minutes because he's like, if we start doing games, guys will just play 5 minutes and then check out. And
Giannis is.
Yeah. So what I agree with this. Okay, if you're 6-man, you have to play at least 1,800 minutes off the bench. Okay, if you want to be any first team All-Star, whatever, or first team All NBA, or any of the final awards, you got to play at least 2,000 minutes. That's about 30 minutes a night for 6
in general.
Yeah, for the
all
season.
The awards. Oh, cool.
Yeah, for all the awards. The only award that you can play less than 2,000 minutes, it's 1,800 minutes, 1,800 minutes for 6th man of the year.
That's intriguing.
Yeah, you do it by minutes because that way they did a math. If you play 60 games, 30 minutes a night, that's 1,800 minutes. If you played 60 games, 30 minutes a night, that's 1,800 minutes. So about 70 games is 2,100. If you played 70 games, 30 minutes a night, that's about 2,100 minutes. Not a bad logic, right?
Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad.
I think minutes, tie awards to minutes played. That's pretty, I think it'd be a good, but Yeah, no, like I mean, think about your Ming Yager. He played till he was like 45 in the NHL.
Anze Kopitar is still kicking it. He might not be. I think he's very old though. Kopitar.
But
he's only 35. Old 35, still pretty old. But.
Damn. I can't believe that Leandro. Also, this Shams Charania, one of the journalists with the best sources inside the NBA who regularly advances scoops in the American League, reported that the Argentinian former Barcelona player was terminated. They're like not saying really at all why he was cut. I mean, I guess he was. I'm so mad about Balmaro. I want the Spurs to pick him up.
Be cool.
But it's crazy to think about that Danny Ainge turned Gobert into 6 first-round picks with little to no protections. And Walker Kessler.
People are complaining about the players they got back. Come on.
That's insane. Oh, it's insane. I still can't believe Leandro Balmaro was like that much of a bust.
Cry myself to sleep.
All right. Here's a quick little one. I thought it'd be fun to talk about. Alrighty. Let me share the screen. We're going to go through this one quick. And I know you don't care for it, but let's do a mock draft.
Oh, nice.
Just something to do. This is from Sam Vecini, and we'll just go through this one. This is a good way to kill some time, but we'll try to do 30 seconds each. I'm going to put a timer on my phone. 30 seconds each, 30 picks. That's about like 9 minutes. I mean, not 9 minutes, about 30 seconds, 30 picks. That's 300 seconds. 300 seconds times 6. I mean, divided by 60 is what, like 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes. Alrighty. So let's start it. All right, NBA mock draft. First guy on the clock, Victor Wembanyama. They have the Houston Rockets winning the draft in this. I don't believe the Houston Rockets win it. I think the draft lottery gods are going to give it to the San Antonio Spurs. But what can we say? I don't even think there needs to be that much time on Victor Wembanyama. Everybody knows him. 7'4". He's the combination of Rudy Gobert, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Kristaps Porzingis put into one player.
Touche.
Moving on to
Houston, the 4th largest city in America.
All right, Scoot Henderson. People are calling him the next Ja Morant, Derrick Rose. I think he's a dog. You know, people have said that if he was in any other draft class, he would be the number 1 overall pick. Thoughts on him?
I'm not a huge fan of that comment. I get it, but I think it throws a lot of expectations on him, but Detroit would be fascinating because they have a lot of guards if that were to happen.
Next one, Brandon Miller, called the safest player in the draft. He's arguably the best shooter. He's like shooting 7 threes a game at 43%, and he's kind of like a small forward coming Alabama, 6'9", small forward, power forward. What are your thoughts on him?
I'd love to have Brandon Miller on any basketball team I like.
Yeah, sure. I think he kind of comes off to me as, I don't know why I think this, but he's sort of the Jabari Smith of this draft.
Wow.
Not like in a bad way, like not Jabari Smith that we know right now, but Jabari Smith pre-draft.
Okay.
Where everyone was like he was the super. Yeah. Next up, Amen Thompson. I've seen comparisons for Amen Thompson as a more athletic, shorter version of Ben Simmons.
That used to be a positive, and now it's...
Yeah, well, like Ben Simmons when he was coming into the NBA, not Ben Simmons right now.
Yeah, I agree with what Vicini's saying. I love his upside. I know he's not a great three-point shooter, but I would definitely take him as well on any of my favorite basketball teams.
Yeah, first off, I don't. If I was the Hornets, if I was the 4th overall pick and I'm the Hornets, I would do everything I can to trade up.
Oh wow!
5, Jarice Walker to the Magic. I just don't see this one happening because why would the Magic draft another forward? Like, Jarice Walker is a 6'8" center, but he's awesome, dude. The guy is like 7'2" wingspan, averaging 16 and 7, 2 assists, shooting like 40 plus from 3. Great player.
What's the issue with Orlando taking a forward? If you mention the name Jonathan Isaac.
No, we have like Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr., Chuma.
Franz can play too.
I know. I just Jarace Walker. I just think like, why wouldn't we take like Asar Thompson or like
he's
Cam?
Only 6'8". He can play
or like
3.
or Cam Whitmore. You know, but Cam Whitmore over here to the Pacers. I love Cam Whitmore coming out of Villanova. He's, I think, a good player. I mean, he missed some games because of a thumb injury. His defense is all right, but he's a big old wing, like prototype wing that I think just fits in the NBA perfectly.
Yeah, he's from Villanova. He'll have a good career.
This is my steal of the draft, who I've been saying is the Josh Giddey and Tyrese Halliburton of this draft. 6'7" guard out of Arkansas, 19 years old, Anthony Black. Literally, the guy is averaging 15 points, 100 possessions, but he is such a good passer, such a good defense player. The only reason he's not higher is 3-point shots a little broken right now. But I've been saying that if he figures out how to shoot consistently from 40% from 3, he could have a higher ceiling than Scoot Henderson.
Yeah. Just draft anybody from the SEC and you'll enjoy the
Big 12 is the best basketball conference. Lasar Thompson is the wing version of Amon Thompson, who's more of the guard version. He shoots below 30%, but, he's a good defender. I mean, he's the lesser of the twin brothers.
Mm-hmm. I guess. That sounds shitty.
Keontae George, I mean, he's had some moments, and sometimes he gets inconsistent, but I've seen comparisons of Eric Gordon. I like it.
Who won that game on Saturday?
KU came back in the second half and dicked them down.
Damn.
Yep. Grady Dick. I've said Grady Dick is a bigger version of Kevin Herter. I said Grady Dick
in his name.
Yeah. The chant is you suck dick, you suck dick, you suck dick is what other school chants when Grady Dick's on the floor. But Kevin Herter is my comparison for Grady Dick, and I'm not just doing that for like they're both like Grady Dick's a larger, better rebounding version, and arguably a better defensive version of Kevin Herter, but offensively and role he would play in the NBA, very similar to Kevin Herter, in my opinion. Kasam Wallace, he's a 6'4". I think a really good defensive first with a good 3-point shot. Very safe draft pick right here. The reason he doesn't go higher is I think he just has a low ceiling but a high floor type guy, Like what you're getting from him. Nick Smith is a guy who's been hurt a lot this year, but we've heard Jamal Murray comparisons to him. More of a scorer than anything defensively.
He's really fallen.
Yeah, he was like a lottery.
He used to be a top dog.
This guy's been calling Ryan Rupert out of the NBL, playing for the New Zealand Breakers, 6'7" with a 7'3" wingspan. I said he could be and he grew up playing point guard. I said he could be OG Anunoby with ball handling skills on crack.
Whoa.
Yeah.
OG with ball handling.
Yeah, on crack. This is what Ryan Rupert has the potential to be. And he was in the NBL and now he's playing regular minutes. And that's the NBL where you aren't given things like the G League. You are earned. Everything is earned in the NBL. Then Jalen Hood Schifino is a guy who's been climbing up the boards. He's this 3-and-D guy that we've seen. Pretty solid.
The Lakers would take him.
Yeah, Jet Howard's arguably one of the best 3-point shooters coming out of Michigan. Are you one of those kids from Chicago who loves Michigan? I know so many people from Chicago who's obsessed with the University of Michigan. Why is that a thing?
Hate Michigan.
Why are people from Chicago obsessed with the University of Michigan?
Probably because their family's yacht resides on the harbor there, and they take the yacht out there a lot.
Chris Murray is Keegan Murray's left-handed twin brother.
Woo!
He's basically like Keegan Murray, but lesser. But he's still good. Bryce Sinsabo, we're just gonna start going through this. 6'6", good 3 shooter, and he's got some defensive talent. Fits the Golden State Warriors like a T. Jordan Hawkins, another good shooter, and he's got some defense. Seems like a Knicks guy. Max Lewis, Pepperdine, small guy,
Yes.
best, mid-major school. He's actually averaging 18, 6, and 3 while shooting 36.6 from 3. 6'7", got NBA athleticism. Derek Whitehead. Derek Whitehead has fallen. He was another guy that was like a lottery pick, now going in the 20s, but that's because of injuries. GG Jackson. People are obsessed with him, but the problem with him is that he's on one of the worst teams in the SEC, and his true shooting is 47.4%.
Bastard.
I like him though. He's really good. He's really good. Colby Jones, he was going to be a late first, early second last year. Dual guy, 6'6". He literally can play point, shooting guard, small forward, power forward. Shoots 42% from 3. Like, this guy is just a glue. He can play so many positions. It's unreal.
Julian Raptor.
Yeah, Julian Phillips. Yeah, it screams Raptor right there. Julian Phillips is a good defensive player with some switchability. I think he can come in. He's basically built like Rui Hachimura, but like better defense. You got James Nanji from Barcelona. No relation to Zeke Nanji. This guy, he started his European basketball career at the Hungarian Academy before he moved to Spain in 2020. He's 6'10", 18 years old. He's one of the league leading rim protectors and shots blocked in the Liga ACB for Barcelona. And he looks like he could be like Ismail Kamagate from last year, who was a late first-round pick by the Denver Nuggets, who still plays for Paris basketball this season. And I see Zeke Nanji as a draft and stash. Derek Lively, another top 10 pick who's fallen. Just an old school 7'1" with a 7'7" wingspan. Could probably be like the Day'Ron Sharp of this draft class. Kyle Filipowski, some people are saying a bigger version of Naz Reid. Then Kobe Bufkin, he seems like could be a good, athletic defensive guard in the NBA. And then Leonard Miller, he was a point guard who grew to 6'10" with 7'2" wingspan. He seems like he could, follow like, I don't know who to compare him to. He's kind of like himself, but like this 6'10" wing, kind of like a poor man's Michael Porter Jr. maybe. And Taquavian Smith kind of could be like Tyrese Maxey. You should have gotten the first last year.
So bad.
But sexual. Let's play a game now. Colt. Pertol. You know what time it is. Ooh.
You get a lot of leaky pods where it like goes back into your mouth and whoa.
You see all those O's I just blew?
Yeah.
I just blew like 4 O's.
All right.
Blow O's, bitch. Blow O's. This is
have a vape.
This is Trae Young. This is Trae Young.
No.
Thanks.
Okay.
That was anticlimactic.
Yeah. It fits the show for the day because of how little anything's happening. People need to start wearing their hats like this again.
You look so white trash. Like you look
my favorite basketball player of all time, Mac McClung.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I live in 8 Mile. My name is White Rabbit.
Oh, jeez.
There's that. You're like that guy in like those satirical like mockumentaries where they're like, "What's up? We've been down here in the hood. When I started my rap career," and then it's just like, "Shut up, Eric. You went to private school." There's like,
oh my goodness.
I gotta pull up this. All right, have you seen
We out here.
I gotta find this.
Button up here.
This is like one of the greatest clips of all time.
Oh, I've been working on neck too much.
What? Right here. Right here. I found the greatest clip of all time that we're about to look at. This is from a show by